Trooper, prepare to fire.
Open the cargo hatch. Oh no! You're under arrest. You have the ram. We're under attack.
It's a fine thing to know that you've achieved something in life, like completing that task you've put off for weeks, or finalising a design on a canvas or paper you struggled to envision for ages. And in the case of reviewing the series, you'd have thought having reached episode 21 of the lot in a 22 episode season would be enough to feel that completion. And you'd have also thought that we'd be done by next week, but no! That'll come in 27 fucking episodes time!
What? What the fuck?
Anyway, we've completed another arc at least, and honestly, this review will be shorter than the previous two, as it's another gentle tale about the meaning of life, resistance, and finding a compromise on the direction of your world despite your differences, and acknowledging how one chooses to fight doesn't matter so long as they fight for a common goal.
Why do war? What is it good for?
Absolutely not!
For the final turn of the wheel in this machine of an arc, we begin on a battle alongside a canyon with Master Mace Windu attempting to push his forces through despite significant pushback from the droids. When the lead tank gets taken out, Mace brings mobilised walkers in for support and manages to wipe out the droid placements. After this, Mace updates Anakin and Palps on his movements and tells Anakin he needs to clear the bombers above to minimise any resistance they would counter below. During this conversation too, Mace tells them that he's going to approach the rebel leader on world, Cham Syndulla, for support, as he can help navigate the land better than they can alone. This is met with hesitation from Senator Ornfree Tar, who believes Cham to be a radicalist who doesn't care for the safety of his people and simply wants to dominate for leadership.
I am the truest repairman!
Aware of this, Mace presses forward with two ARF troopers, later named Stack and Razor, to scout the barren lands for the rebels, and is quickly found by them after taking out some droids.
Haha! Nailed it!
While this occurs, Wat Tambor is contacted by Dooku and asked to leave the planet immediately, deeming it a loss with the forces of the Republic steadily overthrowing them. Tambor responds that he will, but not without the riches he's plundered from the Twi'leks.
Precious!
Mace and his troops make it back to Sham's stronghold, where he accosts them for promising to provide aid, feeling that the Republic failed them before with Master Dai's defence being broken, leading him to take up arms and combat the Separatists himself. However, Mace points out that he can't maintain this for long, as his people are worn and injured, so how long would it be before he's gone too, and asks that he don't write off the Republic just yet. After this, Tambor hears of the progress the Republic are making and sends bombers in to start taking out a campaign over various towns and villages in their way.
Well, that's fucking not good.
Commander Pons reports this to Mace, and just off in earshot, Cham overhears this and agrees to meet with Senator Tar to negotiate Ryloth's alliance with the Republic. They initially argue over the matter, but come to a consensus that the freedom of their homeworld is far more important than any petty quarrels with each other. Tar promises that the clones will leave the planet once the droids are removed, and Cham promises not to take over in leadership beyond this point.
Lies. All lies!
The next day, they proceed with the assault on the capital, and after a few setbacks, make it across with Mace capturing Tambor and removing the Separatist presence on world. We end on a Naboo-style celebration as the Republic's first major victory has been secured.
Good job.
So, among all of the heavy action and drama, which was exactly what I want from my Star Wars programming from time to time, there was a nice message about sacrifice and how it isn't always about the lives of yourself and those around you, but sometimes your values and ideals as well. It's undeniable at this point that both Cham and Tar have their own agendas and desires regarding the future of Ryloth. A feud of which transcends the sanctity of the planet and becomes a point of contention in the Bad Batch later on too. But the stubbornness of these two risks putting Ryloth at greater risk if they don't come together on the matter. Cham believes he's the rightful leader given that he's led in the trenches and gives that up for peace.
I just want peace.
And equally, Tar wants to be acknowledged as the rightful ruler given his status within the Senate as Ryloth's representative, but gives it up for democracy. Honestly, neither should be in that position of power as the war has placed a strain on their morals and corrupted their interests. As seen when Mace points out that their alliance is best for the people as it would enforce protection from the clones until such time that the war is over, but they initially disagree over it. The sad reality of this though is the fact that by the time of the Bad Batch, the Empire have taken over and the clones are still there, leading to the people of Ryloth gradually growing more resistant of another military occupation that seeks only to oppress them again, only this time with the faces of those that freed them to begin with, something of which that's debated when Captain Hauser stands up against Order 66 and everything that comes with it.
I salute you, sir.
Now, speaking of Cham Syndulla, he was certainly a presence back when I first watched this, as he bears the resourcefulness of Saw Gerrera but the sensibilities of Anakin. He's willing to go to any lengths to obtain peace, but can see the effect it's having on those around him, and is only willing to compromise for the sake of men, women and children who are suffering daily from this. Everything we see from his presence here punctuates those points from last week's episode where the true cost of war is the innocence lost to it.
My emotions! My emotions!
Cham's daughter and future rebel leader Hera Syndulla is somewhere in the fray among all this right now, so he has a greater reason for survival and the protection of his planet right now, with a future blessing being that of his daughter taking up the lead in the rebellion. But the effect of the war has already greatly impacted his actions and morals and the ability to be a father. I was surprised looking back though how much context is offered in that one line of dialogue when he tells Mace that he has lost faith in the Republic to be able to support them, and that regardless of Master Dai's sacrifice, he still blames them for not delivering on the promise of freedom.
No, he's got a point.
It's a fascinating take on the good that the Republic are doing for the galaxy, in that if it's lost or they fail to achieve it, it sours the inhabitants' opinion of their ability to end the war.
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Master Mace Windu got the limelight this week in an excellent showing that gives us an idea of what he was like in his prime, as an expert strategist, capable leader, efficient fighter, and a logically compassionate individual. What I mean by that last one is, he can understand the plight of the Twi'leks and acknowledges that they need to be saved, but he won't forsake his rational thinking or values like say Anakin would to achieve his goals. At no point is he shaken by what's happening around him, and I can't say I've ever been a huge fan of Mace, but I will confess this one almost made me one. The level of combat proficiency he carries as a swordsman and the use of the Force is incredible, and I feel that Filoni and co were able to interpret his abilities perfectly in animation, and it's because of this that I'm glad he's used very rarely. As for the various factors involved in this episode, the music was gorgeous and adds a relatable sound to Ryloth that they tap into when we return to the Bad Batch and Rebels. Visually, for the first season, it's stunning. This entire arc overall is incredible. I mean, granted, you can't say that the Bad Batch didn't kick it off the pedestal, but the sunlit backdrops casting shadows over the decimated landscapes were presented brilliantly, and honestly some of these shots were just incredibly well rendered. The cast of background characters all look different for close-ups and provide a sense of population in this as well that you wouldn't see in say a 2D animated show. The acting was stellar, pacing worked a treat, and honestly it feels right to end off season 1 with a victory, and I stand by it today. This is one of the best arcs of the show's 7-season run.
That's a bold statement.
It carries heart, thoughtfulness, generosity of its storytelling, brutality, competent writing, decent animation for its earlier seasons, and overall I think should be appreciated far more than it is. Anyway, that's all I've got for this week everybody. I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this, leave a like and subscribe for more down the road, and until then everyone, take care and may the Force be with you.